I just ran out and got some biscuits. Today we're going to be making the last of the 4 biscuits that we're sending off to the Patreon patrons. Remember, this is the center part of the window biscuit, and we're going to make it into its own little mint chocolate biscuit. Just put a little egg on top, then turn it upside down in the nonpareils, pick it up, and there you have it. Like we lined them all up and covered it perfectly. But they just do it by themselves. And then put it on the tray and just go away. Go for it here. Everyone. Another thing I've learned, which I think I forgot to tell you, is don't use parchment paper when you're doing melted sweets like this, melted sugar. You need to use a baking mat, and I cut my baking mat in half. It was twice this size, and it is just wonderful. It's a silicone baking mat, they call it, silicone. So that's something else to know, that don't use parchment. It doesn't work for melted sugar type things. The first thing we have to do with the window biscuits is put the sugar on the outer biscuit part. And then, once they're all set up on the tray, that's when we put the center window in. And I found this last time I did it too, I think it was around Easter time. Remember, they were oval, and they had a kind of Easter attitude about them, whereas these are round. But what I thought is, oh, I'll put them in a blender to crash them up, because it said, you know, break them with a hammer in a bag. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be better, and also to be finer? But no, it's better to be like this. This we finally did. Richard did this outside for me. Wasn't it nice? Look at that. Whoops. Finding you. See, they're big chunks, and there's dust, both. But you see how the chunks are? That's better. What happens in the blender is that I believe the rubber washers that are in a blender, I think I'm not looking at you. Are you there? Is that you? Okay. I think the rubber washers that are in a blender retain water, moisture, and that just completely ruins the whole batch. It just makes it stiff and hard, and it makes it be hard as a rock in no time, and it just doesn't work. So don't use a blender. Look, I'll show you what we used. This is what we used. Wait a minute. We used this. Okay? You could probably just use a regular hammer, I would think. Some of these got a little dark. But they still taste good. I don't know why. Everything that I've made lately that seems to have got overcooked has actually tasted delicious. So nothing ever tastes burnt. Maybe that's the Scot in me. I think I might have told you once that when I was a little girl, my grandfather always wanted the burned hotcakes. And I thought, oh, I wonder why. And it was his favorite thing. And it wasn't until I grew up. It wasn't until I grew up and went to visit in northern England and Scotland, and I realized that in the grocery stores they had Jacob's biscuits. I have a tin for Jacob's biscuits. Jacob biscuits, select biscuits. Well, see, this is the tin. I have a magnet in the tin so that I can just put it on an ice box. Anyway, in the grocery, they had wrapped biscuits, 2 rows of them, you know, one shelf and another. One were high baked, Jacob's biscuits, high baked. And the other one was just Jacob's biscuits. And the high baked ones were burned. But, whoops. I hope that didn't hurt you flipping back like that. But anyway, it was so great to see that because I understood. So I thought maybe there's a little Scot in me yet. So excuse it. I hope you all like the rich extra flavor of the slightly darker biscuits. Now, here's what you do. Just take a little brush with the egg and make sure it's wiped off pretty well. And you just need a little light, just a light brushing. And then, I'm going to move this over so you can see the action better. Just flip it into the sugar. Make sure the little tips get in. And then take it out. We'll do another. And again. Normally what I've been doing is just letting the brush rest across the top so that you don't have to wipe off the extra every time, because there's enough held in the brush bristles to do just what you need. So just like that, and then I'll do it again. I turn it upside down. You don't have to press too hard, just make sure the little points get down, and there. And if it's a little irregular, to me, it's nice. I like it. I'm liking this new, how can we need to think of a name for this. Let's see, we would call it, Gnarly. How about that? Gnarly baking. Where everything looks a little gnarly. I think it's kind of beautiful in a way. I'm starting to feel that idea. Okay, I might as well put the rest of these. Here's one. Ready? See, this is the third use of the little brush without dipping it in the egg. Flip it, don't press, because you want those little sugar crystals to stick up and be kind of irregular in a way. In there. Here's the fourth use of it. And I'm only pressing to get the tips, but to let the rest be as rugged as it likes to be. Whoop. And then here. So we'll call these gnarly portals, because they're round, well, sort of round. They're hex shaped. Yeah. And believe it or not, the last one, I did so much. I was thinking, oh, I've got to stop so I can show the channel mammals what I'm doing. So I saved just enough. Otherwise, I think you would be bored anyway, don't you? Okay. I think they're just about ready to come out. Yes. Woo. There they are. They're a little bubbly right now, but I think they calmed down a little. Let's take a look. Can you see them closely? I see one that I have to do some repair work on, which just means to put it back in for a few moments, and then on its own, and it will, and with a, maybe push it with a spoon, or add a little bit more of the Julie sugar to it. Here are some of these chocolate mint biscuits I've already finished, and they're little cutouts from the centers with the draggies on them. Now I have to find tins. I'm out of tins. Oh, let me just show you what they're like with the light. Aren't they? I hate to say, well, I don't see them as
my creation, just the way it works is just so beautiful. And let's see, here's another. I have other colors to do. This one is actually a light lavender color, but mostly I have the blue right now. This is a fun one. It has little bubbles in it. And then these little creatures. Here's one I can grab. I love these because these little draggies are so tiny. Many can fit on a tiny little biscuit.
Well, I think we've come to the end of this beautiful little project with the Gnarly biscuits. I hope you enjoyed working on them with me. It was so much more fun with you there. They take a lot of determination. There are a lot of stages and possibilities that you need to work on in making them, but it's lots of fun to discover it. And it all makes sense when we realize it's gratitude. It's gratitude to be able to keep working on this channel with patrons helping out. And we're hoping that more people would love to be a patron. They can do for such a small amount. And it really makes it feel like a full circle giving together.